A retired K-9 deep in the dense Montana forest was barking as if his life depended on it. Officer Michael Hayes, a seasoned patrol officer, initially thought it might just be another restless dog on a routine night shift. Until Rex, his loyal companion for over 7 years, led him to something that had been hidden for decades. What they uncovered would change everything. A family inheritance long forgotten and withheld finally had its secrets revealed. Stick with me. This isn't just a mystery. It's a tale of courage, discovery, and truths that refuse to remain buried. But before we dive in, if you love real-life mysteries, suspenseful discoveries, and stories about heroic animals uncovering secrets, make sure to hit like, subscribe, and comment where you're watching from. These stories deserve to be shared worldwide, and you're part of that journey. Rex's barks tore through the stillness of the night, sharp, insistent, relentless. Michael Hayes slammed his cruiser door, the sound echoing through the towering pines and oaks lining the forest road. The air was cold, damp with the smell of fallen leaves and moss, and a thin fog twisted through the trees like ghostly fingers. "Rex, easy boy," Michael called, keeping his voice calm but steady. But the dog didn't falter. His fur bristled, tail stiff, teeth bared, and gaze locked on a massive oak tree a few yards ahead. Michael's flashlight cut through the mist, revealing the tree's gnarled base. Something about it felt unusual. Rex pawed and scratched at the bark, whining with urgency. Michael crouched, hand hovering over his holster. He'd handled countless forest incidents in his years of service, but this one felt different. The forest seemed to hold its breath. Not a cricket chirped. No owl called. Only the dog's bark, the crunch of leaves underfoot, and the soft whistle of the wind. Michael stepped closer. The oak appeared ordinary at first glance, but near its base, hidden under moss and decay, a strange bulge caught his eye. His gloved hand ran over it. Cold metal. "No, it can't be," he whispered. Rex yipped, more urgent than ever, pawing at the ground. Michael grabbed his radio. "Dispatch, Officer Hayes. Backup needed at Pinewood Forest access. Possible evidence concealed inside a tree trunk. Over." Minutes later, flashing lights cut through the fog. Deputies arrived, accompanied by volunteer fireman Tom Weller with a portable cutting saw. Michael stepped back as the engine roared, the sound splintering the silence of the night. Rex barked frantically, almost desperate, urging them onward. The saw hit metal. A hollow clang echoed across the clearing. Michael brushed away loose bark. Letters appeared. Property of Henry Whitman. Confidential documents. 1983. Michael's stomach sank. Henry Whitman, a wealthy businessman whose assets and property had been under dispute for decades. His heirs had been abroad at the time, unaware of what was hidden. But here, under Rex's insistence, the story of the lost inheritance was waiting to be revealed. Tom and the deputies worked carefully, removing layers of bark. Finally, the rusted metal box slid free, decades of wood having grown around it. Michael lifted it, trembling. Rex rested his head against his leg, sensing the gravity of the moment. Inside, folders marked property deeds, bank files, legal documents, and envelopes sealed with wax. Michael's hands shook as he examined them. These could settle a 40-year dispute," he whispered. Rex barked again, rushing to the other side of the tree. Pawing frantically at the soil, he revealed a smaller metal case. Carefully brushing away the earth revealed documents marked "Personal letters to heirs." Silence fell. One deputy murmured, "All this time it was hidden, right here in the forest." If you're still watching, hit like. This story is about to get even more intense. It was the summer of 1983. Henry Whitman, a prominent businessman, had extensive property holdings across Montana. During a busy period traveling abroad, legal disputes arose over ownership and distribution of certain properties. Files were sent to trusted couriers for safekeeping, but one shipment never reached its destination. The documents contained sensitive contracts, property deeds, and instructions meant for Henry's heirs. Somehow, in the confusion, the files had been buried in Pinewood Forest, forgotten over the years. The mystery of these missing documents baffled lawyers, accountants, and family members alike. Many assumed the files had been lost forever. But Rex, with his unwavering instincts, had led Michael directly to the truth. But before Rex led Michael to the hidden files, there was Rex's own tale of resilience. Rex wasn't always a hero. Before Michael Hayes found him, he had endured years of neglect. He had been left alone outside for long periods, rarely given care. Cold, alone, and anxious, Rex had learned to be cautious of humans. One freezing winter night, Michael responded to a call about a stray dog. When he arrived, he found Rex trembling in a corner of a backyard, mud-caked, ribs showing, eyes wide with fear. Michael knelt, speaking softly. He offered food, patience, and care. At first, Rex growled, snapping at the hand that extended toward him, but he didn't bite. Hours passed before Rex allowed Michael to leash him. That night, Rex was rescued, and from that day forward, he was Michael's partner. Years of training followed: search and rescue, tracking, detecting important items. Michael often said, Rex doesn't just smell things, he feels them. He knows when something is hidden or lost. And that instinct, born from both caution and trust, was exactly what guided him to Henry Whitman's hidden documents. Back in the present, Michael returned to his office, pulling out old case files, faded clippings, photographs, hand-drawn maps from the 1980s. One recurring name kept appearing: Harold Whitman, a distant relative managing Henry's estate while the heirs were abroad. Michael carefully examined the letters Rex had uncovered. Faint codes appeared: Plot 12B, Cabin D, Pinewood Forest. The pieces fit. The properties had been hidden by someone trying to protect them during the chaos of overseas travel, but they had never reached the rightful owners. Rex barked at the oak tree, alerting Michael to further hidden evidence. Michael glanced down at him, recalling the night he rescued the canine. "You remember, boy, how it felt to be alone and afraid?" Michael whispered. "You're not letting anyone stay hidden now, are you?" Rex wagged his tail slightly, eyes fixed on the tree, almost as if he understood every word. Michael and Rex followed an overgrown trail behind the remnants of the old forest cabins. Branches scratched his jacket, moss clung to trunks, fog swirled around collapsed structures. Rex's nose stayed low, tail stiff, guiding Michael as if he could smell history itself. After nearly a mile, a partially collapsed cabin appeared. Michael's flashlight revealed dust-covered bunks, broken benches, remnants of old files, and boxes scattered around. On one wall, faded initials carved, HW plus TS, 1983. Another marker of the forgotten property history. Michael's flashlight caught a loose floorboard. Rex pawed eagerly. Michael pried it open. Inside, a notebook filled with names, property plots, and legal notes. One name circled in red ink: Harold Whitman. The missing documents had been hidden by someone who wanted to protect them, but the files were never delivered to the rightful heirs abroad. Now, decades later, Michael had found the key to the puzzle. Rex led Michael further down a hidden trail. They found a small storage shed. Inside, a metal ring in the floor marked a hidden hatch. Michael turned on his flashlight and climbed down, Rex close behind. The basement was small, thick with dust and the scent of time. Ledger books, notes, and old account files were stacked in corners. In one corner, a ledger had property transfers, 1983 etched into it. In another, legal documents marked confidential, connected to Henry Whitman. Michael's hands trembled. Decades of evidence, hidden and forgotten. Rex nudged his leg as if to say, "This is it." Michael carefully packed the items and carried them back to the sheriff's office. Ledgers, notes, legal documents, all proof linking the mystery together. "You solved what investigators couldn't," the sheriff said, placing a hand on Michael's shoulder. Michael looked down at Rex. "No, he did," Michael whispered. "Hit like if Rex deserves a hero medal. Comment your thoughts. What would you do if you uncovered decades-old property secrets?" 2 weeks later, the community gathered at the oak tree, a place that had once been just a quiet corner of Pinewood Forest. Now it stood as a monument to courage, discovery, and the truth finally revealed. Lawyers, historians, family members, and locals filled the clearing, their voices low with awe. Cameras clicked, not for fame, but to capture a story, decades in the making, a story that had been waiting for someone like Rex to bring it to light. The air was rich with the scent of pine, damp earth, and the faint tang of autumn leaves. At the center, a bronze plaque gleamed in the soft afternoon sun. In memory of Henry Whitman's hidden legacy, revealed at last. Murmurs of astonishment, relief, and admiration rippled through the crowd. Some had come from neighboring towns, eager to witness the moment a long-lost inheritance was finally restored to its rightful heirs. Michael stood quietly, letting others take the spotlight, but his gaze never left Rex. The retired K9, once neglected and alone, now sat proudly at his side, ears alert, eyes shining with intelligence and calm authority. Children edged closer, drawn to the noble presence of the dog who had done what so many had failed to do. One little girl reached out, and Rex leaned gently into her hand, careful and measured, a silent acknowledgement of her bravery and trust. Michael knelt beside him, running a hand along Rex's fur. "You know, boy," he whispered, voice soft yet full of awe, "you gave someone back what was lost, and a family their inheritance." Rex lifted his head, eyes locking with Michael's in a gaze that seemed almost human. The wind stirred the oak's branches, and for a brief, magical moment, Michael swore he heard a soft, satisfied sigh. A quiet thank you carried through the forest. People lingered, talking, laughing, sharing stories, but Michael and Rex remained rooted to the spot. Decades of mystery, secrecy, and lost history had finally been unveiled. Heroes come in all forms. Michael thought, sometimes on 2 legs, sometimes on 4. And today, a brave dog had changed lives forever. If this story gave you chills, inspired you, or reminded you of the incredible bond between humans and their dogs, hit like, subscribe, and share it with someone who loves heroic rescues. Every story like this deserves to be seen, and heroes like Rex deserve to be celebrated.